Yep, the Five Nights at Freddy's teaser has just dropped, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks like absolute garbage. Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today we're gonna be talking about the first teaser trailer for Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, this film has been in development hell for a long time. I'll be discussing that here in a bit, but overall, let's discuss what is going on in this teaser. Well, we don't really get a whole sense of the plot. We just kind of see the pizzeria. We see Josh Hutcherson's character walking around as the security guard, and you see the animatronics, which were done by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. You see a shot of Matthew Lillard as William Afton. Now, why did I say that this film looks bad? Well, I first gotta say, it looks like a film student made this movie. Oh my god, this, Blumhouse, what the hell is this? This looks absolutely terrible. Like, this literally looks like a fan film. This doesn't look like a big Hollywood film. It looks like some sort of TV movie you'd see on like Cartoon Network or something. I like the idea that the animatronics are being done by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and I think they can bring a horror element to this. But my god, the filmmaking, again, it looks so bad. It looks like it was made on like a budget of like a ham sandwich or something. It really feels like Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard, like that's where the budget went to, and like nothing else. And I've been saying for a while now, I don't think this Five Nights at Freddy's movie is gonna be good. I've said this for a while, like on my Twitter and stuff, where looking at what this production has been like, when you look at how everything was going, it's looking to be kind of a disaster. Now, initially, Warner Brothers bought the film rights to Five Nights at Freddy's, and Gil Kenan, who directed the Academy Award nominated Monster House, was going to direct this film. Now, granted, Gil Kenan is a bit of a hit or miss director, but ultimately Scott Cawthon, said that it wasn't going to be moving forward because he had problems within the film industry as a whole. It's going to be very interesting once you get later into the production of this film. In March of 2017, Scott Cawthon revealed that this film was going to be moving to Blumhouse, which, hey, Blumhouse is great. You know, they've made a lot of great movies like Get Out, and they've done Split. They're not even just a great horror movie studio, but they make a lot of great movies that are not horror movies, like BlacKkKlansman and Whiplash. And ultimately, Gil Kenan was no longer involved in the project, and instead, they brought in Chris Columbus. Apparently, despite the fact that apparently Scott Cawthon and the author of one of the Five Nights at Freddy's books was writing the script, and despite that script being liked by both Chris Columbus and Jason Blum, apparently Scott Cawthon said, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do a different take anyway, whatever. And the word is that the reason why this Five Nights at Freddy's movie was in development hell for a long time is that Scott Cawthon demanded absolute control over the film, like over the story, over the continuity, and how it ties into the games and everything, which when I heard that, red flag right there. I've always been kind of sus of Scott Cawthon, but among other things, this is not a good look for this movie, because Scott Cawthon has not worked on a film, not one single film in his entire life. And hearing those rumors that basically Scott Cawthon just wanted complete control over this film, and hearing the previous statement where he said he left Warner Brothers production on the film due to problems within the movie industry as a whole, this tells me this guy, who does not know anything about movies, and really, I don't even think is a good storyteller, because the Five Nights at Freddy's lore is so convoluted and doesn't make any sense. I mean, hell, just look at Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Like, that game was so shit, on top of things like bugs and glitches and just things just not working, but the story did not make any sense whatsoever. This guy This guy wants complete control over this Five Nights at Freddy's movie? No. And I'm not even saying the video game creators shouldn't have maybe some input, but even then, it's a very case-by-case scenario. Because, like I said before, Scott Cawthon, he doesn't know shit about filmmaking or film storytelling, or I guess really storytelling in general, because the stories of Five Nights at Freddy's don't make any sense. And you compare this to, like, Neil Druckmann, and how he conducted himself with the Last of Us TV series, and you see a much different story. This is a guy who's willing to collaborate with established prestige, showrunners like Craig Mazin, who created the series Chernobyl. So obviously this guy knows what he's talking about. And Neil Druckmann was willing to change things that were in the game to make the movie better. It doesn't matter if it fits in continuity with the game, because this is not the game. The Last of Us TV series is its own world, and that is what adaptation is about. It's not about making sure that everything is as accurate as it was to the source material and trying to fit in continuity with that. What adaptation is about is taking the elements that worked in the original medium and adapting it into this new medium. Whether it be changing some of the things that were in the original source material to make this new material better. And this just does not seem to be the case with Five Nights at Freddy's. This just seems like Scott Cawthon just wants complete control over this film. Again, despite not having a very good standing in storytelling, much less filmmaking, and the fact that he's one of the writers of this movie and pretty much just has complete control over this film, even reportedly having some of the directors removed because they didn't feel like his storytelling capabilities would work for this film. That's a problem, and that's inevitably going to affect this film. And you know why I'm right about this? Because this movie is being dumped on Peacock the same day it goes into theaters. Why would they do this? Why would they do this knowing that horror is doing very well nowadays? Because they don't have faith in its success. They know that if people can go see this at a theater, they're gonna need to be planning. Like, those people will need to plan to go to the theater. But then they'll hear that, oh shit, the reviews for this movie are terrible. Well, I don't really want to see it anymore. Whereas if you put this on Peacock, people don't have to go pay and see it. And you can't pull the whole, COVID thing, because while yes, COVID-19 is still a very serious disease that you should absolutely be conscious of and, take the very important steps to ensuring you or others don't get it, we are at a point now where a lot of people have been vaccinated and a lot of people were quarantining to the point to where people can now go back into the theaters. Top Gun Maverick and Avatar: The Way of Water proved why theaters are still viable. And I just said before that horror is doing extraordinarily well in theaters, like more than most other genres right now, because of the low budget that you have with these things and the return on investment you get from that theatrical release. So why worry about that when you're Five Nights at Freddy's? Again, because Universal knows that this movie is dog shit. They know it. They know that this movie is terrible. And people are going to be denying it. People are going to be like,
oh, but Christian, you don't know what you're talking about. Scott Cawthon knows what he's doing.
I'm telling you, he doesn't. He doesn't know a single thing about movies. Why else would he have gotten a director, this person named Emma Tammy, who has never directed a single movie to my knowledge, and the other two screenwriters I've never heard of in my life? I'm just gonna leave it to you guys, because once this movie comes out and it ends up being trash, I told you so. And when that day comes, I will be right back here to talk about it and gloat. So, what did you think about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie teaser trailer? Are you excited for this movie? Or are you like me, where you have serious doubts over this film. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you don't, I might stuff you into an animatronic.
Was that the bite of 87?